Video number 6, the transpersonal view of fate and free will.
There is an expression that astrologers often use, saying that the stars do not compel, but impel. This means that the stars influence, but do not force us to act in a certain way. Thus, we do have free will. I would suggest, however, that we must dig deeper into this question, as it seems to me to be vague and even confusing. While the majority of astrologers seem to believe that we have free will, and that astrologers cannot make concrete predictions, from my experience with clients and students, there does remain a feeling or hope that somehow the astrologer can tell them what will happen. So let me clearly state that astrology cannot make concrete predictions. I say that not only because I believe we do have free will, but also because if astrologers could make concrete predictions, we would have very clear studies showing that this was true, and we do not. Further, that it would mean that we live in a clockwork reality where everything is predetermined, whether we realize it or not. The implications of that are huge in terms of what the meaning of life would be. Dane Rudhyar went into this very clearly when he said, "To know the future, even if it's understood that there can be knowledge only of the potentiality of future events, is not of itself conducive to personal integration. It is not of itself sound psychological knowledge. Even the knowledge of what course of action is likely to be more successful in a given situation is not in itself psychologically valuable." He goes on to suggest that even the belief that this is possible creates an unhealthy relationship with the astrologer, a poor understanding of astrological procedures, and a false sense of psychological security. Transpersonal astrology emphasizes the importance of recognizing the value of uncertainty. Not only is it a real aspect of life, but is where we will find our freedoms. The conscious realization of this is one of the main ways in which our consciousness can shift toward an evolutionary way of being. Instead of being either an annoyance or something that terrifies us, we can now see that this is the very conditions needed for us to be able to grow and evolve. When this begins to be understood, we're now faced with a new and important set of questions. Once we know that we're under a set of limitations, which biology itself also recognizes, then we must now begin to ask such questions as, where might I need to look in order to find the opportunities to make free choices? And is there a way for me to increase these? These must include considering how we can attract the best quality opportunities and challenges, as well as how we might best meet these. This takes us directly into how the transpersonal astrologer interprets a person's natal chart and the difficult transits, returns, and progressions each of us must face at various times of our life. Instead of regarding these as merely something to get through while we wait for it to be over, we can instead help the client reorient towards how to best confront and creatively as possible work with them. This is how the astrologer must approach all of their interpretations. In order to do this, the astrologer must consider how to engage with the client rather than focus on the monologue approach, where the astrologer simply tells the person what the transits are and what might likely occur. One of the issues the astrologer must face now is the possible expectations of the client. While most people believe they have free will, their awareness of this can eerily disappear when in the presence of the psychic or astrologer. There's often an unconscious desire to find some sense of certainty, even though they want to have free will. What this means is that the consultation with an astrologer must include clarifying and managing any expectations the person might have, and then help them discover what they might be and see a new way of approaching them. For a person to feel truly empowered, this is necessary even if they continue to feel afraid of what might be coming into their life. This must include helping the person recognize that empowerment is connected to one's taking full responsibility for their choices, both past and present. The existential truth we must all face, in my view, is the gift of uncertainty, for this is exactly where our freedoms lie. It is how we are able to make new types of choices that will set us on a completely new course that's entirely different from our past programming and conditioning. While it can be difficult to face the unknown, without it, we would be completely stuck in our old patterns. Life itself increases within us as we consciously embrace the uncertainties we all have. Astrology can be used to help us do this.